We're going to start here in just a minute. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Audio good?
Yep.
All right. Good. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today for our Avance webinar, our all-new 2020 1501C. So we have Sean here with us. He's going to help us out, and we're going to sew on a shoe. We have it right here using our embroidery grip. We're also going to do this with the onboard fonts. So we're going to do that in just a minute. But first, I want to talk to you. Before you do that, you have to get things digitized. So I'm going to go over to the computer, share my screen with you. I'm going to show you guys something, ColDesi Graphics, which is a premium service we offer. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so this is ColDesi Graphics, everyone, and premium service, amazing digitizing work here. And here's a little example of just something, a project we did. So on the right, you can see ColDesi Graphics digitizing. On the right is just one of those cheap services, $10. They land in your inbox sometimes. So the difference is just incredible. This is one of my favorite features of the website, just showing you that. But it's great with the difference between good digitizing and bad digitizing, and it's very important when you sew out. I'd say, majority of problems people even have is from their digitizing. Right. So it's really easy. You can log in, sign up. You can also get a custom quote, which is really fun. Put in exactly what you want, and they will shoot you over a quote of exactly what the price is going to be before you even pay for anything. You have digitizing, vector art. They can do conceptual art. So if you have an idea or logo, something in your head, they can turn it from idea to finished product in reality. Another really awesome part about ColDesi Graphics is they send you a picture of your design already sewed out. So you know that it's going to be perfect before you even sew anything. Next step, after you have your design, you have it digitized, is you need a blank. So I wanted to show you Coleman & Company blanks real quick. We have caps here, loading for you guys. Great caps and some great options here. If you're just starting out, you don't have that license yet, and you need a wholesale account, you don't have one, there's some great options here. Really enjoy some of the button-ups. I personally have this shirt right here that we've sewed out on the embroidery machine. Great, really nice shirt. So that's there for you guys as well. And then I want to show you the embroidery grip as well that we're using today. So this is on the Coleman & Company website. Really great tool. A lot of the techs say if you can't hoop it, then grip it. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean. I'm going to let him show you guys how to embroider on a shoe using the grip. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick.
There we go.
All right.
Hello, everybody. I am Sean. Thank you, Hannah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the onboard lettering to create the word Dylan and then sew it on the tennis shoe on the side of the Converse shoe using the embroidery grip. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to choose our designs. We'll let Hannah go ahead and zoom in for us so we can see what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to choose our designs. I'm going to go into the ABCD icon. And the first thing we want to do is go ahead and type in what we want to say. So we're going to type in Dylan. Back to lowercase. L-A-N. So we have our word Dylan. Check mark. Next, we're going to come in here. We're going to choose a font. And there are 28 standard fonts that come with the software on the machine. So we'll just go ahead and choose one. Click OK. We see we got our word Dylan up front. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I want to see it with stitches in it. And it looks kind of loose to me, so I can increase my density or decrease. It depends on what you're sewing on. Once you do that, we'll exit out of here. Next, you notice each letter has a red plus symbol in it. What I am going to do is I'm going to hit this icon, the AB to AB, and I'm only going to go down to one red plus. What this allows me to do is using my arrow keys, I can move individual letters. So if you're typing in a font and say, for example, it's a script and the script's not connected, you can hit this icon and actually get each letter closer. So we'll go ahead and move the D over to the right a little bit. I'll hit the AB icon again. It moves the red mark to the Y. I'll hit it again to go to the L, and I'm going to move the L over closer to the Y. Now the A is pretty far apart, so I'm going to go over to the A. And I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to move the A closer to the L. And then once more, go over to the N and move the N closer to the A. Now that we have our word Dylan and we got the spacing accordingly, I'm going to go back to the AB, and we're going to highlight everything all in red. So now when I move, it's moving the whole design over because I want to recenter it in the hoop because I don't want it to be off center because I did the kerning. Think it's in center, hit start, and it goes off to the side. But when we get to that point, we'll explain it because there is a trace feature. So once we select that, you can come in here and we can actually increase the size of the fonts, make it a little bit bolder. We can increase the spacing between it, decrease the spacing. You can decrease the letter size, increase the letter size. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger here. We got our word Dylan. Once you have everything the way you want it, we'll simply hit the Save button. And I'm just going to name this 25 or DM and go ahead and hit the Save. And then we'll exit out of here. Yes, I want to quit. I'm going to scroll over and look for my Dylan, which is right here, job number 23. I'm going to go to my next page, and up here is where I'll be able to see what it looks like. Everything looks the way I like it. We'll go to our next one. In here is where you'll assign your colors to the design. Now, when creating it, you could have had each letter an individual color, but I left it all one color. It makes it a little bit easier. You can see a color number 1. I've got my 15 colors here assigned to the 15 thread colors that I have on my embroidery machine, and you would do that by hitting this button here. So I want to make it black, so I'll hit 15. I'll go to my next page. Next, I want to go to my hoop setting. I have my hoop already. Since I'm using the embroidery grip, I'm going ahead and using the 150 centimeter hoop. Next, we're going to come in here and do our trace. And as you can see on the screen, it's got the dotted line with the red dot actually tracing the perimeter of the design to make sure that it is going to fit. Now, once it's done, I'll reposition the camera so that you can see what it's doing on the machine. All right, so let me go ahead and technical. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Thank you, Mark. All right, so once we're here, I'm going to hit the trace button again, and we're watching this needle here, which is needle number 1. We also have a laser, which we can see pointing directly right here. This I have assigned to the hole on the needle plate. What that will do is when it traces, since that's where your needle penetration is going to be, you're watching that red dot to make sure that it is going to trace around the hoop. And by looking at it, I can see it's off just a hair, so I want to just try to reposition it. So I want to get an accurate reading. I'll go ahead and hit my trace. And now what we're doing is you're watching the red laser to make sure it's going to fit inside the embroidery grip. If it doesn't, you can take these arms and farther them out a little bit wider to give you more of a sewing field.
If you guys have any questions, use the chat right on the bottom of the screen. You'll see chat and a little bubble icon. Just click on that, and you can ask us any questions you want. We have Sean here, so let's try and stump him.
Ask away. If everything looks good and we're ready to go, I will exit out of this screen, go into my embroidery status, and I'm ready to press the start button. It'll go ahead and switch over to needle 15. Move to the first location and then start sewing.
How many fonts are there? We have a question.
There are 28 fonts that come standard on the embroidery machine.
Awesome. That's great.
And while this machine is sewing, you're off creating your next design on the computer, hooping some garments, or doing what you need to do. All right, we're working on the A. And this design here It has 1,195 stitches.
What else can you use the grip for? Sandals?
Sandals, purses, the front of slippers. Anything that's really hard to hoop with the regular hoop so it doesn't pop out. This is more of like a clamshell grip, so it comes down and clamps it. Thank you, Hannah. For example, this right here, the front of a slipper, we were able to sew the dragon.
All right.
So trying to get a hoop in here would be really difficult. The clamp would come in and clamp it on both sides here. You can adjust it to the width. Depends on the size of the slipper and go from there.
Right. So while Sean takes it off, give him some room here, not all up in his grill. But I want to go ahead and show you. So you're probably wondering, why you chose the name Dylan. We have a little theme going on for this week's webinars. We're working on portraits on the rest of the webinars today. So this is Dylan. It's his birthday, we've decided. So that's why we're using Dylan's name over here. And this graphic is a great example, actually, of what ColDesi graphics can do for you, something like that. This is completely custom work right here. So,
all right, here you go.
Look at
so
that.
You got the tennis shoe. You've got the Commerce on one side. So the Commerce symbol goes on the inside of the ankle. So you got the outside for Dylan, or Steve, Susie, depends on what the shoe is for, basketball. You can also sew on leather shoes with the grip. That works really well. You just have to change out the needle.
I heard it was Dylan's 8th birthday.
Right.
I heard that.
These are going to be a nice surprise for him.
Right. Dylan is going to wear those to his birthday party that we've planned for him. Will this name wear off over time? We have a question.
The name? No, because it is actually stitched in there.
Right. Awesome.
So it's just like having a stitch on an embroidery hat or left chest for a company. They'll last over time. The only thing they'll probably worry is the shoe will probably get dingy.
Awesome. Any questions, anyone? Got any questions?
Did you already answer the question about how much the grip is, the embroidery?
Oh, yeah. So I'll show you guys that again. We have it right here for you on Coleman & Company. Oops. Share my screen with you. So we have that grip right here. So you can see a shoe right there. Clamps it really nice and tight for you. Oh, and here's another example, karate belt, back of a hat. So we do hats a lot. Everyone loves embroidery on a hat. You can do that back area of the hat, which is really unique and different. All right. All right, guys, so we're going to close the video up, but I'm going to leave the chat open just for a minute. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask right here. And thanks for stopping by and joining us. If you plan on joining us again, we will be back at 2:30 p.m.
Thank you.